Hey guys, what's going on? It's Nick from DesignsAcademy, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys a tutorial on making Counter-Strike Global Offensive skins. It's a pretty time-consuming thing if you want to do it right, but if you do it right, you can make some pretty cool skins, and some of them could end up in the game if they're cool enough. I'll show you guys right now some of the skins I've got on CSGO. I'm going to be showing you guys how you could, potentially make something like these skins. Basically just art, on the side of a weapon skin for Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Now, the things you're going to need for this tutorial today are VTFE Edit, which I'll have a link to in the description, a newer version of Photoshop, so you can have CS6 Extended or the 2015 CC release. I have those work because you're going to need the 3D features that the newer versions of Photoshop have. So if you have Photoshop, just go ahead and update it if you don't already have those 3D features, and then you'll have them and it'll all be good. The third thing you're going to need is this link. This is a Google Drive page where you can download all of the weapon files that you're going to need to make any of these skins. So you can see we've got all the categories. I don't think that this method works for knives. Don't quote me on that, but we're not going to be messing around with that today. We're just going to be editing a rifle, which in the end will be the same as all the other weapons minus possibly the knives. I'm not sure about that one. So what we're going to want to do is, once we go into this link, we are going to pick what weapon we want to do. So for this tutorial, I'm going to do an op. So if we go, this web page is kind of slow, so we're going to go to sniper here, wait for it to load a second, op.rar. Hopefully you guys already have WinRAR. If you don't, definitely recommend getting that because it is a very helpful thing to open up files off the internet. So we're just going to open up the op.rar file and click this little download button up here, and we'll see in the bottom left that it's going to start downloading. These files aren't super huge. You can see 13.7 megabytes, so it shouldn't take too long to download. We're going to open this up, and we'll see three files, an object, a PSD, and a TGA file. We're not going to need the PSD file for this. We are just going to need the TGA and the object file, so I'm going to go ahead and drag those onto my desktop real quick, and we'll close that. And I'm going to make a new folder, and we'll call this tutorial op. And I'm just going to drag these two files in here. So once we've got our two files downloaded off the internet, we are going to open up this object file. It'll say object and then whatever skin you're doing, and it'll open up Photoshop. So you see I've got Photoshop CC 2015. Just click OK, don't mess around with any of that. It's going to read the object format, and in a second it should prompt us. No? Okay, we're good. So if it asks you if you want to open it up in the 3D workshop, just say yes, because that is what you want. And as you can see here, it is upside down right now. I'm not really sure why that is, but we can see the op model, and you'll notice that it's completely white right now. And what you're going to want to do to fix that is, down here we'll see material. All we're going to do is click this little button next to diffuse. We're going to click replace material, and this is where we're going to use this TGA file. Click open, and that will texture our op with the normal game settings. So once we have our weapon in the 3D space, this is how you're going to find the kind of mapping to make this texture, because you don't edit it just on the 3D. You're going to go onto the material, and we'll see right here, we're going to click that same button we clicked before and click edit texture. Now this might look confusing to some of you, others maybe not. This is basically just a flattened out version of what we have on our op right now. So if I get the brush real quick, and let's say just get a red thing, a red stripe, and I draw a squiggly line across right here, and then I move around with our op. Find the tool to move around. Oh, still got the brush selected. You want to make sure you have your move tool selected. If we move around the op, we'll notice that it has a red squiggly line on it. So basically, this is just a 2D version of this op. It's just laid out the texturing. So to edit this, we are going to go into our layers. You don't want to edit this background layer. You want to leave that, because if you do edit it, it won't update the skin in the 3D version, and it essentially won't save right. So we're going to click a new layer, and basically this next layer, or any layers above the background layer, we are going to be editing our skin on. So the way you want to do this is you can see that we've got our main textures and then kind of a black background. Anything you put on the black background won't show on the gun because it's not actually like on the skin. All these colored bits or even the dark places are the actual textures for the model. So what you're going to want to do is get your selection tool, and you can use whichever one you want. The pen tool obviously is the most accurate. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to use a magnetic lasso tool so I can just select the areas quickly. And you're going to want to cut out these areas and essentially fill them with something. So pretend I'm using the pen tool and filling this out all nice. This will work for the sake of the tutorial though. So basically you'd be going around and selecting this with your pen tool and getting it all nice and cut out, because you basically just want to edit each kind of panel, if you will, individually. So now if we right click, if we click fill, don't want to do that, right click, fill, contents, we're going to do color, and we'll do just like a light red. We deselect this. Now we've got a layer that replaces one side of our op, and basically if you just edit something on this new tab that opened when you click edit texture, it'll automatically update it in the 3D file. So this is why you want to do this in Photoshop, because you could edit this single file in older versions of Photoshop, but you won't get this automatic live update, which is very helpful for when you're making the skins, because you can move around certain things that you don't want or want. And this is basically how you're going to make your skin. You're just going to go through and obviously for the tutorial I'm not going to go through and show you guys everything that you would do to make, you know, an individual skin, because that's kind of up to you. But you would essentially just do this, and the way I like to do it is basically just get a bunch of different layers of all the different pieces that kind of comprise the skin, so that way I can break it up and know what is what. Because it does get kind of confusing with all these little like rectangles and stuff of what is actually what part of the skin. So we fill that in. We'll look for this update. We'll just deselect. We'll deselect this part, or erase this part, so we can see that this part is the only pink part. And this is kind of a good way to just see on the gun what part you changed. So if we look around, now we can see that this little square on the sheet is the underside of the front of the gun. So that's kind of a good way, at first at least, when you're making the textures for the guns, to see what part is which. Just fill it in with kind of a brighter color or something that's different, obviously, from like the green of the op, and you can figure out which piece is which. So right now, guys, I'm going to make a quick sort of speed art in the middle of this tutorial, just making a very simple skin, and it's basically that same method going out through the entire project. So let's say I've got this piece and I turn this part black real quick, or kind of like a lighter gray, and let's say I want to have 2 red stripes on this. So I'm going to do this. A helpful tool maybe for why you guys are doing this is if you've got all your different pieces. So we'll just do, say, under. What you could do is have this selected, and under this lock tab you can click this little kind of 3x3 square with the like little squares in it, and it will only let you write or like edit anything on that layer, so it keeps you from going out, and that's why you want to do it, so you don't get anything under this background layer. So if we just have that selected, let's say we want 2 red stripes on the bottom, so we do that, and now we've got that. So it's basically going to be your process for editing your skin. You know, you can do anything to all the layers that you want. So we want some dots right there, you know. Let's say we think that looks nice, and we do that on every panel of the gun, and you just want to edit each piece. So right now, guys, I'm going to throw a quick speed art in the middle of this tutorial, just kind of showing you guys a quick example of a skin. It's probably not going to be too great, but I will spend a little bit of time doing it, and I'm going to speed it up because the process is the same throughout. You're just going to be selecting these different layers of the op and changing them to paint them the way you would like them. So I'm going to throw it into the sped up time and put some music behind it. So enjoy, guys. Alright guys, so I just made a quick little example here. Virtus Pro is a pro CSGO team. So just a quick example. I just did this. It was like 10 minutes, just real quick, you know, threw some stuff on it. Just to show you guys an example of what you can do. Obviously, if you spend a lot of time doing it and cut out all of these little spaces nicely, you can actually make some really awesome skins. I'll show you guys the op that I used in game that someone made. Actually, someone I know off Twitter made the op that I use in game right now, but I'll show you guys that later. The next thing we're gonna do is take this and put it into CSGO, and I'm gonna show you guys how to upload it to the market. So all you're gonna do is go to this texture, save as. We're gonna put it on our desktop real quick, and you're gonna want to change it from a large document file to a target file. So TGA, and we'll save that. Leave this on 32 bits, and we'll click OK. And you can close Photoshop now because I'm done editing my skin. I'm not gonna save anything. Close that. Alright guys, so now that we have our texture from Photoshop, we are going to get it out of this folder right here. We'll see VP op. We're going to do open with, and instead of choosing Photoshop, we're going to click choose another app. I wouldn't do this because then you have to reset it for Photoshop, but we're going to open it with VTFE edit. Now if you don't see VTFE edit anywhere in here, all we're going to do is look for another app on your PC, and you're going to need to find where it is. Now normally it's in program files, and then we'll go to NEMS tools, VTFE edit, and you can click that and click open, and now it'll use VTFE edit to open that target file. Now we want to keep all these settings. These are perfect. Click OK and give it a second, and it will open up the same file that we just had, so we can change the format. So now if I full screen this, we can go around and you can see that this is the file I just made in Photoshop. So now what we're going to do is click save as, I'll put it on my desktop again, and we're going to save it as a VTF file. Now we're going to say VP op, save, close that, we don't need it anymore. Alright guys, now that we've got our VF file of our texture, we're going to go into Steam, and I'm going to open up Counter-Strike Global Offensive. There's an update right now, so I will see you guys in game. Alright guys, now I am in Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and I'm going to be showing you guys how you can open up the skins in game to look at them, and also eventually if you want to and you've made a skin that you think is good, you can upload it to the workshop so maybe get put into a weapons case. So I'm going to open up the console. If you don't know how to do that, all you need to do is go in here to options, keyboard and mouse. You want to turn your, or not keyboard and mouse, no, it should be keyboard and mouse. Yeah. Alright, here we go. Game settings. Enable developer console. Turn that to yes if it's not already. If you play CS, it's probably already on because everyone uses the console. Hit the tilde key, and we're gonna go to. We're gonna go to workshop underscore workbench. Hit enter. It'll open up the workbench. Now, you can see we've got the default AK here. If we just go to change the weapon down here, you're going to want to change it to whatever you used. I use the op, so I'm going to change to the op real quick. We are going to do a custom paint job and choose pattern, and we're going to go on here to our desktop if I can find it, and inside of our folder we've got our VP op. So if I double click on that, that's not what we wanted, that's the Explorer. Here we go. Alright, desktop, tutorial op, click our VTF file, click open, and now you'll see it's in the game. Now it does look a little weird. You're going to want to turn all these offsets down to 0, and then click ignore weapon size and scale. So now basically we can do whatever we want. We can inspect the weapon just like you do in game. We can see our design, we can reload it, on the workbench. It's kind of cool for making videos about it. Do a green screen. This is usually what you're going to want to do if you're taking a screenshot. You can show it with stat track, show name tag, all sorts of stuff like that. Alright guys, that is it for today's tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial on how to make weapon skins in CSGO. It's very easy, and this is definitely one of those things that if you've got a lot of creativity and a lot of time to do it right, you can make some really awesome looking things, and potentially with something like CSGO make money off it, because people do get commissions if their skins are entered into the game. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, comment down below what you'd like to see next week and leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more tutorials every week from Hayden, Jaden, Vito, and I. It's been Nick from DesignsAcademy. Peace.